History is often written in ink, but it is remembered in stone and silence. In Europe, there are places where the air feels heavier, where the past is not a story, but a presence. These are not merely destinations, they are the conscience of our world, calling us to look back so we might move forward with wisdom. We visit these sites not for entertainment, but as a profound act of witness. They represent the fragments of lives interrupted and the hard truths of human history. Today, we journey to these hallowed grounds to honor the victims, preserve the truth, and reflect on the enduring importance of peace and human dignity. In the pages that follow, we will walk through the sites of remembrance that every visitor to Europe should experience. From the quiet fields of France to the historic corridors of Amsterdam, these places demand our attention. Let us begin this journey with the gravity and respect it deserves, starting in Poland. Auschwitz-Birkenau stands as the ultimate symbol of the Holocaust. Between 1940 and 1945, over 1 million people, the vast majority of them Jews, were murdered here by the Nazi regime. Today, it is a memorial and museum that preserves the physical evidence of this atrocity for all future generations to see. Visitors walk through the Arbeit macht frei gate and see the barracks where prisoners were kept in subhuman conditions. The museum displays personal items, piles of shoes, suitcases, and eyeglasses, that restore a sense of individuality to the victims. These everyday objects are a haunting reminder that these were real people with lives and dreams. At Birkenau, the scale of the site is overwhelming. The ruins of the gas chambers stand as silent testimony to the industrial scale of the murders committed here. Walking the long path along the railway tracks allows for a moment of deep reflection on the depths of human cruelty and the resilience of those who survived. Visiting Auschwitz is not easy, but it is necessary. It serves as a stark warning of where hatred and dehumanization can lead if left unchecked. By visiting, we ensure that the victims are not forgotten and that the truth of the Holocaust remains an undisputed part of our collective memory. In the heart of Berlin, the Memorial to the Murdered Jews of Europe covers nearly 5 acres. Designed by Peter Eisenman, it consists of 2,711 concrete slabs of varying heights arranged in a grid. This abstract space is a place for individual interpretation and a public acknowledgement of Germany's historical responsibility. As you walk deeper into the memorial, the ground slopes downward and the concrete pillars rise above your head. The sounds of the city fade away, replaced by an uneasy silence. The design is intended to create a feeling of disorientation and isolation, reflecting the experiences of those who were marginalized and persecuted. Beneath the stones lies the Information Center, which provides a more personal context. It features the names of millions of victims and tells the stories of individual families. This contrast between the vast, nameless field of stone above and the intimate stories below highlights the tension between the scale of the tragedy and the individual lives lost. The memorial's location in the center of Berlin, near the Reichstag and the Brandenburg Gate, is a powerful statement. It integrates remembrance into the daily life of the city. It challenges visitors to think about how societies remember their darkest hours and how to build a future based on justice and reconciliation. In the French countryside lies Oradour-sur-Glane, a village frozen in time. On June 10, 1944, a Nazi SS division massacred 642 residents and burned the village to the ground. After the war, President Charles de Gaulle ordered that the ruins remain untouched as a permanent memorial to the victims and the cruelty of occupation. Walking through the streets today, you see rusted cars, abandoned sewing machines, and charred remains of buildings. There is a profound stillness here. It feels as though the inhabitants just stepped away, yet the destruction tells a different story. It is one of the most direct and visceral experiences of history in Europe. The village is divided into the village martyr and a new town built nearby. This proximity serves as a living connection between the tragedy of the past and the resilience of the survivors. The ruins serve as a site for education, reminding us of the fragility of peace and the human cost of total war. To visit Oradour is to encounter the weight of loss in a very personal way. You see the names of families etched into the memorial plaques and the everyday items that were caught in the flames. It is a place that asks us to value the quiet safety of our own lives and to honor those who lost everything. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, the Srebrenica-Potočari Memorial Center stands as a witness to the 1995 genocide. Over 8,000 Bosniak men and boys were systematically killed by Bosnian Serb forces. This was the largest massacre on European soil since World War II, a failure of the international community that continues to resonate. The memorial is located at the former battery factory that served as the UN headquarters during the war. Here, the Museum of the Srebrenica Genocide tells the harrowing story through survivor testimonies and archival footage. It is a place of deep mourning, where families still gather to bury the remains of loved ones as they are identified. The endless rows of white pillars in the cemetery are a visual representation of the scale of the loss. Each stone represents a life, a family, and a future that was taken away. The atmosphere is one of solemnity and ongoing grief, as the community continues to seek justice and truth for the victims. Srebrenica is a place of profound reflection on the consequences of hatred and the importance of international responsibility. It serves as a reminder that the promise of never again requires constant vigilance. By visiting, we stand in solidarity with the survivors and honor the memory of those who were lost. The House of Terror in Budapest is located in the building that served as the headquarters for both the Atrocity Party and the Communist secret police. It is a museum dedicated to the victims of the two successive dictatorial regimes that ruled Hungary in the 20th century. The building itself is a site of historical trauma. The museum's exhibits are immersive and often unsettling, designed to evoke the atmosphere of fear and oppression. Visitors descend into the basement to see the original prison cells where political dissidents were interrogated and tortured. The experience is designed to be visceral, forcing a confrontation with the reality of life under totalitarianism. Through photographs, documents, and multimedia installations, the museum tells the story of the Hungarian people's struggle for freedom. It honors those who resisted the regimes and those who suffered in silence. It is a place that celebrates the human spirit's desire for liberty and the courage required to stand up against tyranny. The House of Terror is a vital site for understanding the complexities of 20th century European history. It reminds us that freedom is fragile and must be defended. By remembering the victims of both Nazi and communist oppression, the museum promotes a deeper understanding of the value of democracy and human rights. In Amsterdam, a narrow canal house contains the secret annex where Anne Frank and 7 others hid from the Nazis for over 2 years. The Anne Frank house is one of the most visited sites in Europe, offering an intimate look at the human experience of the Holocaust through the eyes of a young girl. Walking through the hidden doorway behind the bookcase, visitors enter the cramped quarters where the families lived. The rooms are empty, at the request of Anne's father, Otto Frank, to symbolize the void left by the millions who did not return. The silence in these rooms is powerful and deeply moving. The museum houses the original red-checked diary where Anne wrote her thoughts, fears, and hopes. Her voice, so full of life and intelligence, stands in stark contrast to the tragic fate that awaited her. Seeing the actual pages she wrote on brings the history to life in a way that no textbook can. The Anne Frank House is a place of pilgrimage for people from all over the world. It reminds us of the individual humanity that is lost in every conflict. Anne's story continues to inspire millions to stand up against prejudice and to believe in the goodness of people, even in the darkest of times. Our journey through these sites of remembrance concludes, but the responsibility of memory remains. These places are not just about the past, they are about who we are today and who we choose to be tomorrow. They remind us that the light of truth is the only way to banish the shadows of history. Visiting these sites is an act of respect that honors the millions of lives lost and the survivors who carried the truth forward. It is a way to ensure that their stories continue to be told and that the lessons they learned are never forgotten. Memory is our best defense against the repetition of tragedy. Thank you for joining us on this solemn journey. As you reflect on these places, we leave you with one final question. In your own life and community, how do you keep the flame of memory and truth alive for the generations to come? Let us continue to remember, to learn, and to honor the past together.